we're back. So we're back. So I've said the same thing for every video. So I'm gonna make sure I say it. We are recording this in between week 17 and 18. So if anything happens in week 18 that we did not discuss, it is because it has not happened yet. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I don't feel well. So if you see me go on mute, cough, and my voice sounds a little blah, it's because I feel like my head is floating and I'm losing my voice, but that's okay. Everything's fine. The show must go on. And then the third thing is this is my Houston Texans video. And all offseason, I was calling the Texans the baby Texans because they're young, younger coach, young quarterback, whatever. And I'm on record as saying I'm cheering for black quarterbacks. I'm cheering for black head coaches. That is how I roll. That is what I do. But this Texans team, I'm not sure what's going on. So I'm super excited to have you on to just give us some ideas of what you're thinking, how you're feeling. Also, the thing is with the playoffs coming, there's going to be a lot of fans that watch their teams all year that are now going to be watching new teams. And I think new fans usually come during the playoffs because you watch a team and you're kind of like, forget my team sucks. I'm going to go cheer for that team next year. Yeah. So I thought it'd be cool to have these conversations about the teams that are in the playoffs and then, just get more information about who we're going to be watching. So I will stop talking and I will turn it over to you. So you let me know how you're feeling as a Texas fan. How do you feel like the season has gone? What are your thoughts and feelings about your team?
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
No worries.
I'm getting over some stuff. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But I'm actually feeling good about my squad going into the playoffs. What a lot of people don't know, we already had a shaky offensive line. Last year they played a lot better. That's why CJ was up more last year, and he had a little bit more time in the pocket, even though we had injuries to Tank Dell last year. But we missing Shaq Mason. We missing Shrugs. Two of our best offensive linemen that is not been playing in this stretch of a gauntlet we just had.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, and so we missed an offensive lineman, and they should be coming back for the playoffs. So that's a great thing. Whether we play y'all, because I didn't know this until today. Shout out to Sports and Coffee, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to whenever y'all feel like leaving the club.
It is.
Morning coffee shop. So
yeah. Is that what do with
D?
Yeah.
The Steelers fan too. Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to get her on to come talk to me about the Steelers.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I hit her up to see, but
so just FYI. Let's be honest. We're black people, okay? Yeah. This is what we do. It's kind of we all kind of know each other, but don't know each other, but we've heard of each other, have seen each other. So this is what we do.
So, it's either the Steelers or the Chargers. Because if y'all
who would you prefer?
Me, see, honestly, I'll prefer the Chargers, and this is the reason why I want to say I prefer the Chargers, and it's not because I'm afraid of the Steelers, because
nobody should be afraid of anybody.
Yeah, I welcome either matchup. The only reason I said the Chargers because I want to be selfish and see Baltimore versus Pittsburgh 3. And 2, I feel y'all can beat them.
That's so funny.
I'm sorry, Texas fan gonna be mad at me. I really don't care because I'm my own person.
Yeah.
We do not match up well against the Ravens. Lamar is 5-0 against us. I don't want to see 6-0. I don't want to see that. And so after that, I believe y'all will have to go see Kansas City, and we will have to see Buffalo again.
And you like your chances against Buffalo?
And I like my chances there.
Okay.
So y'all get y'all rematch, and then you'll see AFC Championship game. I'm sorry, this is where the Steelers and Mike Tomlin, because he got his dub, because he got it, because they've been talking.
We need it.
Yeah, y'all need a playoff win.
Yeah.
So this is how I'm mixing. I'm in the pot right now. I'm cooking up, and so then we can see the AFC, because I want this matchup so freaking bad. I said, if we get to the playoffs, it'll be against them in the AFC Championship game. It'll be the Texans versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Y'all seen the game. Y'all seen them BS calls. I want it back in blood.
They're pretty bad.
For the AFC Championship game. And another thing too, because I am a historian of the game. The Chiefs was the Dallas Texans. Basically,
I
Texans, like from the
yeah.
beginning to now. A lot of history there. It's like and I would love to see that.
Yeah, it's like the Eagles. The Eagles used to be the Steagles, I think, back in the day. I don't know if you knew that. So that's what I like. I always tell people, I'm like, as Steelers fans, you kind of have to cheer for the Eagles because like we're kind of a part of them and our
Yeah, because
creation.
y'all ain't too far apart.
Right. We're in the same state. It's like one of those weird things. But yeah, I hear you. I've been on record as saying I would rather play the Texans than the Ravens, mainly because I think the Ravens match up so well with us, but it seems like everyone wants to use the Steelers to hopefully knock out the Ravens.
Yes. We need
it's kind of like how some people want Cincinnati to come in because Cincinnati can beat the Bills and the Chiefs. And so people are like, if we use Cincinnati, and they'll be the lowest seed. So they'll play all the highest ranked teams and they can, because they'll get the Bills first and they can beat the Bills. And then they'll get the Chiefs first or next, and they can beat the Chiefs. So anyways, so it sounds like we're all on the same page of knowing who we want to play and knowing who we can knock off somebody. So that's good. So when you look, go ahead.
But I'll actually love our matchup against y'all too, only because we have the DBs to lock up y'all wide receivers.
So here's the thing. Let's just keep it real. Our offense is not very good.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just first and foremost. So I'm not really leaning, like we have to score points to win the game. I got it. But I am more excited to see if our defense can get the CJ Straud that I've been seeing in the last couple of weeks. I want that one. I don't want the other one. I want the current CJ Straud. Like I want the CJ Straud that's playing right now. The one who looks like he's second guessing himself in the pocket. The one who looks like he can't make decisions. I want him in the playoffs first round against that Steelers defense. Like that's what I want to see. Now, I'm not saying we're going to win. I'm not saying we're going to win because we can't score points, but I just like the matchup better. That's just how I feel. And it would be in a dome because it would be in Houston.
Yeah. And then because it'd be next week. And I will not be here, which is the crazy part. I will not.
Yeah. Such is life, being an adult. So, how do you feel like the season went though overall? Like, how do you feel like overall the season has gone?
I painted it literally almost to the T of how I said the games ago.
Okay.
I said I felt like as we got better, I didn't know we was going to get hit with the injury bug. Like
yeah.
Like two major pieces on offense.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. But kind of how I figure, I said we can go like 11-6 or 10-7 again. Like I didn't see what everybody, because people hit saying names, but I know my team.
That's what I always say.
Like I know my team, and I know what I've seen from them. One thing that jumps off on paper is our defense. Like I am in love with our defense because it's complimentary for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Because we can get to the quarterback. Check the stats. Daniil Hunter, he has 12 of them things.
Yeah.
Will Anderson, defensive rookie of the year last year.
He looks like a grown man right now. Yeah.
And like even our defensive line, and then I'm rookie of the year Bullock in the back end. Out there, we still got Eric Murray. We still got all-pro Stingley. Put some respect on his name, y'all. Put some respect.
Who's the other corner? The corner from Georgia? Number 4?
Lassiter.
Playing his butt off. Having a great,
We had a great draft.
Yeah.
The only thing is like, if our offensive line hold up, we can see the CJ of last year. But what a lot of people and a lot of Texans fans excused last year was the good mistakes. So when I'm saying a good mistake is that CJ ended the season with, I believe, 6 interceptions last year.
Yeah, it
should have been 10 to 12.
Right, because there was
a lot of drop interceptions.
Yeah,
like some of the same things he's doing this year, he did last year.
Yeah,
but the defense didn't capitalize. they are
That's a good
catching
point.
his mistakes now. So like it's good that he can fit it through a window. Like I love that about you. But sometimes I feel like quarterbacks look for the big play too much instead of doing the Tom Brady effect. Oh, I'm gonna take what you're gonna give me, and when you give me that big shot, now I'm gonna take it. I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
gonna make a calculated risk instead of a Brett Favre risk.
Yeah. Can you talk to Quinn Ewers about that? No? Okay. Anyways.
Oh, I'm
So,
not a UT
anyways.
fan, so
Anyways.
I ain't talking
Yeah,
about
but did you watch the game? I mean, come on. What are you doing? Why are we throwing the ball in double coverage? I'm just saying.
I wanted y'all to lose.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do. A lot of people do. But I'm triggered. So, I'm sorry. I'll back off. I'm a little triggered. But I'm just like, you're probably like me. You probably watch a ton of football. And you're probably thinking, this is what I think when things happen. Okay, the one thing you can't do in this position is take a sack. The one thing you can't do in this position is throw an interception. One thing you can't do in this position is fumble. The one thing you can't do here. And then when your team does the thing, you're like,
what are you
how?
doing?
How?
Or why?
And how do you feel now, you idiot? Like what? I just can't.
You be screaming at the screen, don't you?
Yes and no. So I don't scream as much as you probably think I do. So I'm one of those like. So I've matured into my football watching. So I used to be a screamer. I used to be like, catch the ball. Ah, ah. Now I'm more of a, okay, tackle, make the tackle. All right, watch the fake. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of talking through the game now instead of yelling at the game, if that makes sense. And sure enough, I say watch the fake and we still don't watch the fucking fake. Anyways, let's just move on because how did I see it and y'all didn't see it? Anyways, whatever. So weaknesses. We know the strength. Strength is the defense. What do you feel like the weaknesses are right now of this Texans team?
Two things I'm gonna say. Of course, the glaring one is the offensive line.
Yeah.
Situational play calling.
Ooh.
Bobby Slowick. I have not liked how he's been calling the games. Mixon has barely been touching the ball. Like, I understand you want to throw it. Like, we was playing the Ravens. 3 straight drives, straight 3 passes, 3 straight drives.
Oh my
Not a
God.
touch, no mixing, no touches, not even a swing pass. Not even a swing pass to Mixon. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? I understand they are stopping the run, but still keep them honest.
You have to keep running the ball.
You're not featuring Damian Pierce enough for me. Like, I love Joe, but you're not putting DP in because one thing DP is, he's a hard tackle because he almost broke one on that kickoff against the Ravens. He almost broke one, and he broke one last year.
Interesting.
So, you know
I haven't paid attention that much. Interesting. Okay.
So, like, with the Texans, man, like, can you mature as a play caller?
Okay.
When things go off schedule, can you switch up?
It's that's interesting because when I'm watching them, I don't know them well enough to like pay attention to the play calling, if that makes sense. Because I think that's a fan watch, right? Is like most of us are just kind of watching the game, watching the players. But that's interesting. The play calling, that's frustrating too. You're probably yelling at the screen saying, "Run the ball."
I'm like, because I played it. I played football, and I watch it, man. Like I studied it. Like I was studying to the level that I wanted to, because I didn't. Of course, I didn't make it to the NFL, but that was the goal. So I was studying the game like religiously. I'm like, okay, again, shout out to Crow because he be doing this. And my boys, Coach B and the Gridiron Bullies, they do film studies and stuff.
Shout out to them.
You should get them on your podcast. On the podcast.
Hey, tell them reach out to me. I'll talk to anybody. I'll talk to a wall if that was entertaining. It's not, but I could.
Yeah. So, but to like see coverages, like I know cover 2 when I can see it, like on the screen and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, and then I'm like, why are you doing this? Why are you calling this play? Like, I know how to call out. Like, I can literally call out Bobby Slowick whole like type how he called plays just by watching the game.
So he doesn't break tendencies.
He really doesn't. Like
okay. It's not good.
It's very like you can catch on it quick. And if I'm sitting on the couch,
that's what
I'm not a high level DC. Do I believe I can be one? Hell yes, because I do have the knowledge of the game. But if I'm catching it, the best DCs in the world are catching that.
Yeah. That's how I feel about the Steelers. I'm like, oh, let me guess. A pitch to the right here? Yep. Sounds about right.
Because you start catching on to their play calling. Yeah. Like even like indirectly, like because you're paying attention and you're watching so much, and so you're gonna be learning other things. You can be like, oh, it's a single high, and then they be saying this is like, as a football player, I'll be like, bro, like this is common sense, but I guess it's not that common. If a player go into motion, they follow. Oh yes, man. I'm like, everybody should know that. I'm like, that's really nothing special. And if they stay and they don't go, oh, it's a zone. Duh. If you watch enough film, you know that.
But you know what's crazy? I've realized is like people still, I've never played in a football game before, so I don't know how it feels. But there's just certain things where I'm like, on the field, do you not take what you take with you when you watch the game? Because you're in it. So like, how come, like, I feel like if I talk to any football player and I sat with any football player and I watched a game with him right next to me, we would probably see the same things. And then that guy would go get in a game and forget everything we talked about when we were just sitting there watching the game on the couch. It's like, how does this not translate, people? But, it's loud. There's 1,000 things going on.
Like the elite players, though. That's where it translates.
And maybe that's what makes you good versus elite.
Yes,
maybe that's the difference.
Because when they say it's levels to this, it's levels to this.
Okay, I respect that. That makes sense. Yeah. So the other thing is that I did not expect you to say the offensive play calling. That actually caught me off guard. So, and that's an interesting thing to pay attention to too. Like as we go into the playoffs, if other fans pick up on that don't usually watch your team, that's interesting.
Most fans are like probably casual fans, like enjoy. Like,
true.
I feel like people that played it and people that are really invested in their team, they look at it like that. Yeah. Because there's some Texas fans that call some stuff out like that, and then there's some Texas fans that's fans. Like I don't even say I'm a fan anymore. I say I'm a supporter of the team because the team.
Because fans are kind of crazy.
Yeah, fans are crazy, and they don't look at it to me realistically. Like the goal. We was talking again in Sports and Coffee. The goal for me, I was saying we got to get to an AFC championship. Like, I can say Super Bowl, but knowing my team, I'm like, their goal needs to be the AFC championship and let the chips fall where they lay.
Yeah.
And like, I'm still taking us. Because I'm like, we get there, we got to win it.
Yeah. Like, well, okay, so let's which teams would you like to avoid on the path to the Super Bowl?
Ravens.
First only? Is that the biggest? Okay, is that your biggest foe?
Like, my thing is, we should have beat the Lions.
Correct. On Monday night?
We can. It shows we can compete and play with the best teams.
Yeah.
CJ had a bad game. That was on CJ for sure.
Didn't y'all have like 5 turnovers or 4 turnovers or something
crazy? We took the ball from them 5 times.
Yeah, and lost.
You can't ask your defense to do any more than that.
Yeah.
Like you cannot ask your defense.
That was like a Steelers kind of loss. We do dumb things like that where you're like, how do we lose that?
Like the one with Russ fumbled. That changed the whole momentum of that game.
Don't even get me started.
I was like, I was like, oh, and then boom.
He did everything right, but the one thing wrong cost you the game. Like that's, oh my gosh, don't even get me started on them. So let's say you guys are in the Super Bowl. You just win the Super Bowl. I call you 3 minutes after you win the Super Bowl. And I say to you, congratulations. Why do you think what is the biggest factor you think that will allow you all to win the Super Bowl? Like, what is the one thing you would say to me that you would be like, we did it because, like, what would be
CJ took that next step. Because To be honest, last year he played like a top 10 quarterback.
He did. Mm-hmm.
This year, even though the numbers are still kind of similar, it just his decision making. You can see it.
It's slow.
You can see him costing games because he missed. My thing, I don't know how he keep missing Mechie. Like Mechie be cooking. Mechie was wide open. He missed him. Dalton Schultz was wide open. He missed him. You missing throws I've seen him make.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
if my thing is CJ gotta be Tom Brady. Like my thing is people always say, man, hey man, I want to be like Tom Brady, but you ain't taking even his approaches and how his everything he takes from the game. Because Shador was working with T Beasy.
Yeah. Oh, Shador.
You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he really taking that and he really gaining that knowledge, man.
Well, all of that damn running backwards and spinning out of, I don't know, that Tom Brady would never. Tom Brady would just take the sack.
He'd come in and Tom Brady knew we can live for another down.
That's it. That's what I always tell people. Throw it at their feet. Move on. The play didn't work. It busted. Throw it at their feet.
And there's nothing wrong with either taking the sack to keep the points because it's a lot of points. Again, CJ left on the table this year because he threw a dumb pick throwing into coverage.
Yeah. Do you think this is his sophomore slump? Hope. Because if it is, I will
only
say
because
though.
I've seen this from him last year. It just didn't get capitalized on. But if you want to say slump, I can't really argue that.
Fair. Who would you want to play in the Super Bowl?
The Lions. I like the Lions. I did a skit with my homegirl under AK Push Pop, and she's a Lions fan. Okay. And so I'm gonna send you the skit afterwards.
Okay.
And I will want that matchup just first off to do another skit because it's gonna be hilarious. And two, just because I actually want to see if we lose, I wouldn't mind losing to the Lions because they never had a championship. We never had a championship. It's too the Lions are known losers. We have a barely winning history. We losers too. So it's one of us got it.
The battle. I cannot. So the loser bowl.
Not the 60 now. You said that.
I'm just messing with you. Stop making me laugh. I'm over here coughing because that is hilarious. Because in my mind, when you said the Lions, I was like, that actually would be great for both organizations just to watch it because whoever won, you would know they would make history.
And it's a storyline there. It's Golf versus CJ too. Me personally, I would love it. But at the beginning of the year, it looked like it might happen, but the Eagles. But you can't are we kind of Minnesota? They can. They got the talent. They have the talent in the defense. I don't want to just disrespect them either because I wouldn't want to see them. Another team, I wouldn't want to see them.
I think the Eagles might be the most complete team in the NFC. And I think that Minnesota might be 1A. Because
they can have the 1 seed because I think
that's what I was saying. I think because I think if Jalen Hurts doesn't go out against the Commanders, I don't think the Commanders win that game.
No, I don't think
so. So if that's the case, I think my point is the Eagles could easily be the number 1 seed, but they're not because Jalen Hurts went down, blah, 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 blah. So you can't, it is what it is. But my thing is when I look at the Eagles, their defense, their secondary, their offense, their running backs, their receivers, fantastic. And then it comes down, then you look at Minnesota, same thing. But for me, it comes down to, do you trust Jalen Hurts more than you trust Sam Darnold? In whoever you trust more is whoever you put at one.
I've never seen Sam Darnold in this situation. Yeah. So I have to go with Jalen Hurts because
that's why
he's been to the Super Bowl and he did not play trash.
No. He had the one freaking fumble that ended up costing the game, but the defense couldn't freaking stop
against the Eagles, though.
Yeah, and the defense couldn't. I don't think they got to stop the entire second half.
Like that was, I ain't gonna lie, that was a fire Super Bowl.
It was pretty great. It was way better than the one we had last year. The one we had last year, I was like, come on, guys, really? Can somebody do something? This is so boring. So anyways, as we're winding down, like I said before, a lot of people will watch this that usually don't watch the Texans, that don't really know anything about them. They know CJ Straud. They know DeMeco Ryans. They know probably Will Howard. They know Will Tangendale's out. They know, yeah, or I said Will Howard. Texas plays Will Howard, so my brain is on OSU, but whatever. So yes, Will Anderson. All of these players' names, like, why is everybody the same names? Like, can we get like some differentiation between names? Everybody has similar names, but what do you want people to know about your team when they're watching your team? What is something that, as a fan that doesn't usually watch your team, what is something that you would tell people, like, just as an FYI, like, hey, when you watch the Texans, one thing you want to be aware of, like what I say is the Steelers aren't going to score points. Don't get fixated on that. Stay focused. We're going to grind it out.
My thing is, I would want to say, like, because I like our D-line and I love our secondary. It's just, don't put it in harm's way. Like, we don't take, because we lead the league in points off turnovers. So,
Okay.
like, don't do that.
Okay.
Because, like, we gonna make you pay. So,
I love that.
I will say that. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I really, really love our secondary.
Okay. So
I've been clamoring, telling people Sting is one of them. Everybody on this little mixed sauce train. And I'm like, bruh, Stingley is him. They was like, well, he ain't been hurt. I say, when he was healthy, all you seen was lockdown.
Yeah. Your secondary is good. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, all pro Stingley.
Yeah. I like the Texans. I liked them last year. I like them this year. I think this year something, I think I've said before, something just feels off. I don't know what it is. I'm not, I don't listen to like Houston Texans radio anymore. I don't listen to like certain things, so I don't really know what's going on. Something just feels off. Whatever it is, maybe it's, I don't know. Whatever it is, something feels off. So, but I hope they do well, unless they play us, obviously. But otherwise, like, we'll see what happens, right? Like, that's all you can do, see what happens. So tell us where we can find you, just so you know, just so everybody knows. In the description notes of this episode, all of your information will be there. So I'll add your Twitter, whatever else you want me to add, I'll add it. But just let people know where they can find you, what you're into, and things like that.
Okay, so it's TipVille USA, my clothing brand, TipVille USA. You can find me on Instagram at TipVilleUSA _USA. And then they got my links in the bio. You can find me on YouTube too. You can just type in TipVille USA. You can see my skits. I'm an actor, so you can see my skits.
Nice.
You can see my podcast, because I do have a podcast. It's called Just the Tip Podcast, and I get people journeys. So yeah, I get people journeys. So it's for the people. It's literally for the people. It's for our people. And you have the freedom to talk any way you like it. You don't have to be a celebrity. You can be somebody just trying to come up and want to share their story. You can come get that with me. You can find me on Amazon Prime.
Oh, I lost you.
There we go.
There you go. You're back.
You can find me on Amazon Prime. Peacock coming up, because I have a movie coming up January the 7th. And if you're in the DMV, I will be in the DMV next week. I have a play, Black Boys Cry, because we on tour. You can find me out there in the DMV if you want to hit that information. And you can find me on Facebook, TipVille USA.
Nice.
Anytime you want, if you want merch, you can DM me. I'm very, personable. And if you want to have a conversation, I'm here too. Like, just whatever, I'm here.
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you. I don't even remember. I reached out to you like when the season started, I think.
You did.
Yeah. And then I was like, well, the season's going on, and I don't like to bother people during the season because I feel like we're all a little antsy. Like, we don't know what our team's going to do. So we're kind of like, we think we're good, but whatever. And so I'm glad that this came back around, and I was like, let me do this. I always do these things and like I'm up against time, and I'm like, well, how can I make my life crazier? Give myself this crazy idea that you want to do and start talking to fans again. Great idea. You have a week to do it.
Idea. It was definitely a great idea.
So, and I appreciate you like reaching back out to me because you didn't know me. You didn't have to, but you did. You reached out, and here we are. So I just appreciate you for just like, communicating and trusting that I'm not a weirdo, because there's a lot of interesting people out there. I'll just say that. So
I'm about to say, man, I have a brand called Weird Nature too. It's my elevation brand. So everybody is weird. I've been called weird. I'm pretty sure you've been called weird.
Of course, I have blue hair.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I appreciate you for allowing me on your platform. Like,
yeah, of course.
Fun. This was cool. If you want to do it again, we can do it again.
Yeah, let's do it again. Well, maybe in a weird way, we'll find a reason. You can always find a reason to talk to somebody, so we'll figure it out.
And can I give a shout out?
Yep.
The Intangible Motivation. These is on my wrist. Is my brother's. He in the back there.
Nice.
But this is
what does it say?
He's motivational speaking. He's a
life coach.
Yeah. So look up Intangible Motivation, y'all.
Well, send me the link and I'll put the link in the bio.
All right, bet.
Then you can click on it.
Okay. So yeah.
Awesome. And I like motivation.
Yeah. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for everybody tuning in. Like I said before, everything he just mentioned, I will make sure that I put in the description box. If I mess up, and if you're looking for something that I didn't put in the description box, somebody hold me accountable in my comment section and say, hey, you didn't put this. I will add it. It's sorry. So anyways, well, thank you everyone. And thank you for joining me and talking all things Texans. I appreciate you.
I'm about to say thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks.